So here we have my Mk1 full length HW77, all stripped down, ready to be refurbed. Got it quite cheap on one of the forums. First ever Springer restoration, only my second ever Springer. I've got a Chieftain as well in 177. This is in 2.2. Bluing is pretty bad, to be fair. Not too decided. Got the original rear sight there. Not too decided on what I'm going to do with this. Might re-blue it, might not. I think it all depends really how it shoots. Did a few test fires when I first got it. Dieseled like crazy, and when I opened it up, it was absolutely full of grease. There's the old piston seal. I got a nice new one, but yeah, I think there's been a bit of dieseling. Obviously it's been sat for a while. The indentation there you can see on the end. So yeah, dieseled like mad. Power was kind of anywhere from like mid 11s up to kind of low to mid 12s, so a little bit all over the place, and obviously over power. Got stripped straight down, and yeah, obviously hasn't been fired since. This is the original, well, I don't know if it's the original spring, it's certainly the spring that was in the gun. One thing I have done is I've just refinished the end. Someone had cut it but not refinished it, so I thought I'll have a go at refinishing the end using actually a video by TBT. I've watched lots of his videos for various different things. I think that came out okay, but having not done it before, I'm not 100%. But I actually have a new full power spring from TBT, which I'll be fitting, I think, rather than that original spring. The record trigger, again, that was full of grease. I've stripped that down already, kind of polished up the contact points. Minimally sort of lubed it with some moly paste. Shooting at dawn was the video I watched for that. I think he's got a couple of videos, one on stripped down and one on rebuilding. Seems to be firing nicely. There was a bit of corrosion. There's a couple of sort of roller pins on the top of the trigger, and where they engage with the sear, there was a bit of corrosion on both of those. I haven't got all of that off, but I'm going to see how it feels. I'm thinking I might have to take it apart and get that off, but certainly it feels nice. Pistons, obviously I've taken the seal off. There was a brass sleeve in there, and again it was all full of grease. And like I say, I've got the nice new seal to put on. I'm going to be polishing this up. That's kind of my next job. I think essentially, really, you probably only have to polish the back bit because there's not going to be contact all the way along. But I'm going to polish the whole thing. I'm going to stick it in a drill and just spin it up with some wet and dry and some auto sol. Just get it nice and shiny. I have started polishing up the compression tube a little bit just with auto sol, but I don't know if I can pick this up. But where the loading port is, where obviously where this bit's exposed, I think you can see there were some marks there and stuff. So I've got some really fine wet and dry I'm going to use on that, and then auto sol it just to get that nicely polished up. Got my TBT kit as well, so I went for the maxi kit. So you get your spring guide, your top hat, slip washer, a couple of power washers, which I really don't think I'm going to need, and you get the export power spring, obviously some other little bits and bobs that just come in the kit. But these are, so this is the original spring guide, which I just, yeah, I can't really believe that wire out, still don't know how to say it, put these in their guns. Really just looks like a nasty bit of metal. Also in the piston, this was in the end here, so it had this brass sleeve on the inside, and that was sort of sat in the end of it. I'm guessing gives a little bit of preload on the spring and a bit more weight in the piston, so it's going to give you a bit more power. Also, I'm guessing it's going to give you more recoil. Like I say, sort of new to springers, so I'm assuming it would give you more recoil. It's certainly not going back in. So yeah, I've got a little collection of bits that have that have come out that won't be going back in. Stock has been sort of stripped and sanded. It's sort of, I don't know if you can pick that up, but it's sort of just changed the shape slightly. I think they've gone a bit rough with the sandpaper, and also the checkering is all but kind of sanded down really. Then they've obviously put this stain on, which you can see on the cap there, just to darken it down. I'm guessing they were going for a walnut look. I'm going to try and strip it all back off, back to bare wood. Might stain it and refinish it in Danish oil, or not too sure really what I'm going to do there. Quite fancy having a go at putting the checkering back in myself, but I imagine that's probably a job that it might seem easy, but it's probably very difficult, and I really don't want to sort of mess it up. But you know, nice original stock anyway. See how that comes out. I've got some little sort of brass screw cups to go in here with some countersunk screws to go in there to hopefully finish that off nicely. Yeah, like I say, I'll get it all sort of cleaned up and polished and lubed very lightly. Seems to be the sort of way that people go. Get it all put back together, see how it's shooting. Definitely going to do something with the stock. Like I say, might look at rebluing the action and everything as well, but I'm really just going to see how it shoots, and if I think it's worth doing. Yeah, if it's shooting really nicely and the stock comes up nicely, then I think it probably deserves a bit of a reblue. But yeah, we'll just see how it goes. So this might be my one and only video. I don't know if things sort of work, or I don't know, might sort of film how the stock stripping and sorting out goes. But anyway, that's kind of where we're at the moment. Yeah, fingers crossed it all goes back together nicely. I guess one thing to note was that getting the trigger block off was interesting. It was on pretty tight, took a bit of persuading. Again, used a TBT strip down video to see how to remove that, and did take a little chunk out of the palm of my hand because there's some fairly sort of sharp edges in here, which yeah, took a little chunk out of my hand. But yeah, other than that, it was fairly straightforward to strip down really. Yeah, just following the advice on that video. So yeah, so that's it. We'll see how things go, and we might get another video up.